Good morning, everyone. Happy Hump Day, third graders. We are quickly approaching our next CKLA unit, which is super exciting. Today we'll read a story called The Lion and His Advisors. In math, you'll complete a Properties of Shapes worksheet. I love seeing all of your emoji creations yesterday. They were all so cool. Also, wow to all of you who correctly guessed the Mad Gap Challenge. Mrs. Marfilius and I were thinking that it would be fun to do Mad Gap during our Thursday class meet. So this week we're talking about purpose and connection, and today I have a read aloud. It is called The Three Questions. Okay? Let's take a listen.
The Three Questions, based on a story by Leo Tolstoy, written and illustrated by John J. Muth. There once was a boy named Nikolai, who sometimes felt uncertain about the right way to act. I want to be a good person, he told his friends, but I don't always know the best way to do that. Nikolai's friends understood and they wanted to help him. If only I could find the answers to my three questions, Nikolai continued, then I would always know what to do. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? And what is the right thing to do? Nikolai's friends considered his first question. Then Sonia, the heron, spoke. To know the best time to do things, one must plan in advance, she said. Gogol, the monkey, who had been rooting through some leaves to find something good to eat, said, You will know when to do things if you watch and pay close attention. Then Pushkin the dog, who was just dozing off, rolled over and said, You can't pay attention to everything yourself. You need a pack to keep watch and help you decide when to do things. For example, Gogol, a coconut is about to fall on your head. Nikolai thought for a moment, and then he asked his second question. Who is the most important one? Those who are closest to heaven, said Sonia, circling up into the sky. Those who know how to heal the sick, said Gogol, stroking his bruised noggin. Those who make the rules, growled Pushkin. Nikolai thought some more, and then he asked the third question. What is the right thing to do? Flying, said Sonia. Having a good time all the time, laughed Gogol. Fighting, barked Pushkin right away. Then the boy thought for a long while. He loved his friends. He knew they were all trying their best to help him answer his questions. But their answers didn't seem quite right. Then an idea came to him. I know, he thought. I will ask Leo the turtle. He has lived a very long time. Surely he will know the answers that I am looking for. Nikolai hiked up high into the mountain where the old turtle lived all alone. When Nikolai arrived, he found Leo digging a garden. The turtle was old, and the digging was hard for him. I have three questions, and I came to ask for your help, Nikolai said. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? And what is the right thing to do? Leo listened carefully, but he only smiled. Then he went on with his digging. You must be tired, Nikolai said at last. Let me help you. The turtle gave him his shovel and thanked him. And because it was easier for a young boy to dig than it was for an old turtle, Nikolai kept on digging until all the rows were finished. But just as they finished, the wind blew wildly, and rain burst from the darkened clouds. As they moved toward the cottage for shelter, Nikolai suddenly heard a cry for help. Running down the path, he found a panda whose leg had been injured by a fallen branch. Carefully, Nikolai carried her into Leo's house and made a splint for her leg with a stick of bamboo. The storm raged on, banging at the doors and windows. The panda woke up. Where am I? She said, and where is my child? The boy ran out of the cottage and down the path. The roar of the storm was deafening. Pushing against the howling wind and drenching rain, he ran farther into the forest. There he found the panda's child, cold and shivering on the ground. The little panda was wet and scared, but alive. Nikolai carried her inside and made her warm and dry. Then he laid her in her mother's arms. Leo smiled when he saw what the boy had done. The next morning the sun was warm, birds sang, and all was well with the world. The panda's leg was healing nicely, and she thanked Nikolai for saving her and her baby from the storm. At that moment, Sonia, Gogol, and Pushkin arrived to make sure that everyone was all right. Nikolai felt great peace within himself. He had wonderful friends, and he had saved the panda and her child. But he also felt disappointed. He still had not found the answers to his 3 questions, and so he asked Leo one more time. The old turtle looked at the boy. "But your questions have been answered," he said. "They have?" asked the boy. "Yesterday, if you had not stayed to help me dig my garden, you wouldn't have heard the panda's cries for help in the storm. Therefore, the most important time was the time you spent digging the garden. The most important one at that moment was me, and the most important thing to do was to help me with my garden. Later, when you found the injured panda, the most important time was the time you spent mending her leg and saving her child. The most important ones were the panda and her baby, and the most important thing to do was to take care of them and make them safe. Remember then that there is only one important time, and that time is now. The most important one is always the one you are with. And the most important thing to do is to do good for the one who is standing at your side. For these, my dear boy, are the answers to what is most important in this world. And this is why we are here."
Okay, what a great story for Read Aloud today for our positivity project. So I think it's really important to think about purpose and connection and how you find purpose and connection in each moment within your life, so that can change moment to moment. And like this story spoke about, it has to do with where you are, who you're with, what they need, what you need. It's bound to change, but it's also something that you know in your heart what your purpose and connection is, and it really has to do with those around you and your environment. So something to kind of be thinking about, especially now, because our environment looks different and we're home with our family more, so your purpose and connection will look different now than it would look when you're at school. Okay. So I wanted to quick share some photos from daily challenges we've received. So your challenge was to, create an emoji. And we have, just trying to resize this, Keelan created an emoji out of chalk, which is super creative. And we also have Josiah's emoji, Miles Morales emoji, Spider-Man, Intro the Spider-Verse by Josiah. So creative and cool. And then I also wanted to share these 2 photos. This past weekend, we had super nice weather on Saturday, and this is Keelan outside with her grandparents helping doing some yard work, which is so nice. Okay, here's our to-do list for today. So for math, your job is to complete Properties of Shapes practice page, and I will show you guys what that looks like. It'll be attached on Google Classroom. Just pull that up. So this is what the worksheet looks like. Okay, so your job is to study the example showing how to identify shapes using sides and angles. Okay, sides and angles are the 2 things that we look at when we're identifying shapes. So here we have an example. Which of these shapes are quadrilaterals? Triangles have 3 sides and 3 angles. Quadrilaterals have 4 sides and 4 angles. Pentagons have 5 sides and 5 angles. Hexagons have 6 sides and 6 angles. So A, C, E, and H are quadrilaterals. Use the shapes above to solve problems 1 through 4. Which shapes are triangles? So using the information up here, shapes blank and blank are triangles. Use the information in the box to answer those 4 questions. This one says use these shapes to solve problems 5 through 7. So you're using these shapes now to fill this chart in. Shape A, number of sides. How many sides does shape A have? How many number of angles where two sides meet does shape A have? Do that for shape A, B, C, D, and E. Number 6, write the letters to the name of each shape shown above. So now we're going to name these shapes using the shapes above. A triangle, what letter? Pentagon, what letter? Quadrilateral is what letter? Hexagon is what letter? Number 7, draw and label a pentagon and a hexagon. Make them different than the shapes above. So follow the same characteristics of those shapes given here to draw them below, but make them different than the ones provided. So think about how you can rethink how to make that shape. It could take more than one time, that's okay. Use the shapes on the right, these shapes, for problems 8 and 9. Which shapes are triangles? Refer up top if you are having a hard time remembering how many sides, how many angles. What is the name of shape G? Tell how you know. So I know shape G is because it has this many sides and this many angles. That would be an acceptable answer. Okay. Let's pop back here. Okay, so after you complete your practice page, 10 to 15 minutes on iReady, fact, fluency practice. If it's addition, that's great. If it's multiplication, perfect. Whatever you're currently working on. And as always, if you are someone that works with me, continue your touch math work. For CQLA today, you're going to listen to the read aloud, The Lion and His Advisors, which will be attached in Google Classroom as well. And it'll look just like this. You'll have the slides to follow along with the reading. Wednesday, The Lion and His Advisors. Okay, after that, you're going to complete a Google form which has a few questions about the reading, The Lion and His Advisors. And it will look just like this. Wednesday, The Lion and His Advisors. You will have 2 questions, really quick and easy. Refer back to the reading if you need to before you answer the questions. Okay, you have both of those things on there. So, a quick quote tied to our P2 character strength is each one of us can make a difference. Together we make change. So my daily challenge for you is create an invention that would bring more purpose and connection to the world, especially nowadays because we all are living in different ways. We're doing school from home. Maybe our parents are working from home. What's an invention you can create that would bring more purpose and connection to the world? That's my challenge for you. Have a great day.